María del Pilar Carabús conduce Estrafalarios Compulsivos, un programa que revoluciona tus sentidos.
From Iran to London, from London to San Francisco, this beautiful conjunction of poetry, photography, calligraphy, magically amalgamated in an erotical dialogue, creating a new language. A subtle cry of freedom captivating us through the infinite power of desire. Welcome, Mobina, Nouri, to Estrafalarios Compulsivos. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much.
Well, very welcome to Estrafalarios Compulsivos. This is a wonderful interview because I'm really curious about you. I want to know, in terms of feelings and artistic identity, how was the transition between Iran, London, and San Francisco? I mean, Orient and Occident.
Yeah, for sure. So my life story, it's started from Iran. I was born and raised in Iran, and then for my study, I moved to London. I studied there for a few years for my PhD, and then I just moved to San Francisco. Like, if we include COVID, it's 6 years, but if not, it's 4 years. I don't know, for some reason, I just feel that the COVID time is kind of a breeze and I don't count it. So, but in reality, we should count it. So it's 6 years here. So it's like almost 14 years I'm out of my country.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And how was the transition? How do you feel? Because it's a huge movement. Orient to Occident, London, San Francisco.
Yeah, for sure. And so definitely I was, actually I grew up in a traditional family, very men-oriented society. And so it was like the first culture shock for me when I moved to London. And I felt like quite like in the beginning, it was very interesting that I felt like, I need a new version of Mobina, because the old version is somehow and not expired. We are all in the process of growth, but changes is just happening in our life in a way that give us ideas, inspiration, motivation. And it's not an easy task to do, but I felt like my identity somehow questioned when I moved to London. And then I started to question me as a woman, as a girl that used to read lots of Persian poetries, and so all of that questions makes me to somehow destroy the first identity that I created for myself as a Iranian female artist. And then I started to create a new identity with a new environment, which was, to me, was the highest level of kind of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of you as who you are. That was the big difference for me. So I started to find the new meanings and dig deep to see what's there, what is in my heart that is really burning, and then I somehow connect something new, which was the first thing was my body. I was so in touch with my body, not in a way that I was in touch when I was in my country, all the time, we just covered and then we kind of I didn't have a really good relationship with my body when I was in Iran. Because I feel like the whole society in a way, suppress you. And I felt like, okay, I wish I was a boy when I was in Iran, because I have 3 brothers, and I saw
Wow.
them like how cool they just play around, they do everything they like, and as a girl I have to like limit myself for so many things, and it was very difficult. So the first time I moved to London, after a while I started to like first experience my body in general, like I started to go to some dance classes, 5 rhythm dance classes, um, and I started to feel like, oh, this is a body. This is my body. This is like I kind of like started to connect with that. And then anyway, you never can destroy your roots. My root was like Persian literature, culture, and all of that. So I brought like that kind of root through calligraphy and writing poems, but connect that with my own body.
And when did
So
you begin to feel art as a powerful, great attraction, passion to make it professional? It was in London?
it was with me forever. Like when I was a child, I was doing art, and then it was with me. It was like kind of growing with me, but I never know like that's my path, So it's like I was doing different like things. I studied theater in Fine Art University of Tehran, and then I studied like product design, changed a major for my master, and then for my PhD I moved to London for creativity science, which all of them are like very different majors, but
Connected.
in each of them somehow like something was kind of have created story, So when I was in London, I think that was the first time that I felt like after my PhD, I want to like, professionally and find my way in the art world. And to be honest, in the beginning, I didn't want to like show those works to the public. It was very personal to me, and I didn't want to like have exhibition or show them. And again, as a fear that I had always, I grew up with the fear of my body.
Yes,
so,
of course.
and then that was like a big, huge kind of, exploration.
Of course.
Yeah.
and you've been in Iran during the war period, I guess, no? Were you able to find an intellectual, a spiritual escape, metaphorically speaking, a shelter or something during that process, the war?
Yeah, definitely. I remember most of my memories of childhood were in the war. So it was, as a child, it's like the meaning of life and death for you. It's very like, unknown, and it's quite like the thing that you don't think about that. But when you see like, the bombing happening and so many people was killing, so it's like you start to like find your own meaning and own peace place, peace space for escape. So for me, the escape part was poetry and reading poems, and losing myself in my dad's library of lots of Persian books, and we have so many like amazing poets during the history, and very rich literature.
And that library is still there? Your dad's library?
We changed our home. Yeah.
Oh, la la.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Because it's wonderful.
We have a very I have very like a sharp memory of that, but unfortunately, my parents like sold that house. And yeah.
So books,
now like
literature, poetry, amazing. It's a wonderful shelter to lose yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It was my peace space, so I just kind of like immerse in the meaning and that word actually. I didn't hear anything around, or I like couldn't see anything, because it was very difficult. It was very hard to like deal with whatever happens around us, you know.
Yes, of
So we were
course.
so aware of, like, you know, that sound of like we had like some alarm to tell you that, okay, now is the time to go to shelter, because like the bombing is so close to you, to your place. And then it was very scary, and then yeah, I think mostly my escape was that
Literature.
library. Yeah,
Amazing escape, wonderful escape. And following the chronology of your artwork, since the perfect Iranian analogy about forbidden words that I've been reading in your biography, I love that concept, forbidden words, to a deep, explosive, poetical, erotical present time. What is the sensation after this intense journey, adventure right now? How do you feel right now in San Francisco? Because coming from forbidden words to a wonderful way to express your freedom is really intense.
Yeah, it is. It was a very intense journey, and still I feel like if I have lots of fear of going back to Europe. I mean, I don't have any fear of anyone, but because of my parents still there, so I feel those words still are forbidden. So my point was, what's the matter if the meaning and the concept of those words is poetry? What's the difference between if I write them on a paper or on a body? And I have some performances that I write the poems on the bodies of people, like in real performances in the real life. But it's like a ritual, you know. It's like, because there is some concept of, like, you know, everything has a vibration and energy, and then word has energy too. So in some ritual in Japan and China and very old traditional, you know, it was a treatment actually, writing like some words on the patient's bodies. And we live in the very dark time in the world. I know there are like so many lights and beauties, but at the same time, we struggle like emotionally and spiritually.
I know.
Most of us. And then I think those forbidden words are something that quite political, because it's, for example, it's from a very rebellious avant-garde poet of Iran, but who was female. And because she was female, it was like a it was like not loved, not liked, not loved, and like, you know, censorship. It's all the time happening, not only for poetry and literature, for everything else. Lots of like censorship happening. So that kind of like difference, it's huge, you know, when you have the freedom to just speak what's inside you spiritually, emotionally.
It is.
It creates,
It is.
Yeah,
for that
for
reason,
sure.
we want to show your artwork. Let's take a look to one of your artwork, and later you can tell me something about that. This is a wonderful. Freedom is the name, no?
Yeah, it's freedom.
Yeah. And I want to see. Well, first, tell me why this beautiful dialogue between body, photography, poetry, and the poetry is from who? Because I don't know. Tell me about the concept of this piece of art. I'm completely in love with freedom.
Yeah, actually this work was selected for the Young Museum of San Francisco for the exhibition 2 years ago. And so I'm honored for that. And the concept is freedom, as it says. And the poems mostly are from Rumi poems. And it's all kind of like talking about, I don't care if even like they kill me. I just want to be free of, you know, the judgment of the other people and the society and everything else. I just want to be free. And then I'm working with really amazing photographers.
I can see. Tell me the name. Tell me the name of
And then
this.
that one is Daria Olova. She's a Russian photographer, amazing photographer. I have a very good friendship also with her. And then I just talked to him about my concepts. Most of my works have like somehow some concept, and I'm asking her to just photograph, and then we just talk and communicate with each other in the concept and ideas, and then she just do that. So I love her style and what she is doing. But I was working with also like male photographer, like for my own body. When I worked on my own body in the beginning, I was working with Stuart Mackay or Wahid Samani and other really great photographer. Somehow I prefer to work with female photographers because somehow I feel like the viewpoint and the way they see the beauty is a little bit different. I don't want to talk too much, but
no, you are not.
Yeah.
But I want to see the next artwork, because later I want to speak about some of your painting. Well, it's not a painting, but this is completely amazing. The image is not so good, but what is this?
Oh, I should send you the good quality
yes,
one.
Of course. I can see a few images inside there.
Actually this piece
females images.
This piece created based on a concept of 7 female poets of San Francisco and 7 visual artists of San Francisco. So each artist kind of choose a poem, and then based on the poem, and we didn't know like who is the poet in the beginning. So in the exhibition we meet each other. 7 poets meet 7 visual artists, and then each chosen a poem, and then based on that created. So that was like from a really interesting San Francisco-based poet that is talking about like I'm a woman, but I have so many different like aspects and facets, like a diamond.
Yes.
And then I show myself sometimes I need to cover my pain, but the root is full of pain. And then in that image I started to find the roots, and then those lines kind of like a roots of each of us. That is, and then I called this piece Untold Stories. So which is like, when you see a tree, you don't see the roots, you see the branches and the flowers or the blossoms and all the beauty,
of course.
But you don't see the roots. The roots are ugly, and it's not ugly, it's beautiful to me, but it's dirty, it's in the ground, and it's hard, And then to me it's like not every female, even like every human's story is somehow we see the beauty outside, but the way it goes through is like we should go to the roots and see what are the pains. Everyone has a story, so somehow I wanted to show that. I don't know how.
I love it, but I want to go to Hidden Love, because I guess you are changing the name. In some places it's Hidden Love, and in other it's like Lovers. So I'm really interested to know why that big change with the name, because Hidden Love is one thing and Lovers is other completely different name concept.
This is Hidden Love. The reason was I was talking with Daria, my photographer, and I said, Daria, I want to, in my country and so many other countries, religiously, the love between two female, or two same sex, it's not accepted, and it's a crime. It's a crime on those country, and those people goes to prison for that reason. And to me, love is love, no matter
Of course,
it's between two souls, So I asked her to just I want to lady that just pose in a way that shows lots of emotions. I want to like intense emotions, like sadness, like, and then also the fact that they, and then she was in Russia. Yeah, Russia is somehow like similar, but it's not a crime, but it's kind of like, you know, forbidden, but
Yes, it
it's
is.
in the closet. But in Iran, it's really, really like on the edge. So
We know.
yeah, so I said, okay, I want that concept to these girls just, you know, express their emotions somehow, like they love each other, but they can't show that publicly. So it's kind of like hidden. That love is hidden, but it's still there. And I started to write the love poems on their bodies. And yeah, so these are two girls, and then you can see the hands, and then somehow it's like separated, but it's a love between them for sure. But it's a very sad love.
That is really beautiful. Being the creative process a wonderful transformation, how do you feel during this magical, mystical moment? I mean, close to to a better understanding of yourself, or maybe it's a wonderful opportunity for a personal reinvention. I don't know, getting lost in the meantime. How do you feel?
Mean the process?
In the creative process, how do you feel? Close to a better understanding of yourself, or maybe it's a wonderful way to lose yourself?
Yeah, I think it's coming both at the same time. And actually, I can say something. I lose myself, and then the result is I understand myself better.
Exactly.
So so that's the process for me.
Okay, because for me it's exactly the same. I guess it's a wonderful way to reinvent yourself in some point, creation
exactly.
in every art experience. Tell me, Mobina, about 1,000 Tales, your next exhibition in LA, Los Angeles. Tell me about that.
So I'm very excited for that. It's upcoming. It's like in 2 weeks' time. We have a public opening on 19th of February, and it's in Advocacy Space Gallery in West Hollywood. So the name of the exhibition is 1,000 Tales. And I'm sure so many people are familiar with the book 1001 Nights, which is a very old, like a folk stories that started from like Iraq, India, Iran, and the stories shaped and then changed and translated through the history, and then it came even like to the West, and then Hollywood also made some movies out of it.
Yes.
But and cartoons like Alibaba, Sandbad, all of those.
And some famous novel here in Argentina was really, really famous. But it's completely different to your wonderful artwork.
So the thing is, my inspiration, it's a very surreal, like postmodern, like, you know, spaces on those stories. Those stories like told like 1,000 years ago. No one knows like the exact timing for them, you know, because it's a folk stories. But it's somehow like really interesting. It has like erotica side to that. It has like a fun, it has like political side. It's like so many things like written in just one simple story, and it's so easy to, you know, follow. And the most interesting part is like these stories are told by Shahrzad. Shahrzad is a female, actually is a girl that saved so many virgin girls from the king. So what happened is, the main story is the king somehow was angry with his wife that was with his brother, you know, like cheated on him. And he said, since now, to revenge, I want every night one virgin girl marry me, and then the night after he killed the girl, you know. So Shahrzad was actually one girl that went to the palace, And she was very smart. And then she started to tell the story in a way to keep the king very interested and amazed by the story, but didn't finish the story for the first night, you know? So she kept king like excited about the stories. And then every night one story started but not finished. And then Shahrazad in that way for 1001 night just saved like 1001 nights, virgin girls. But there are so many, it's very symbolic and metaphoric, you know, if we go deep on that why Shahrazad and why a girl, and then how smart she was to just find that way, that true story and entertainment and all of that, you know, kind of show saved so many people lives, and also like, you know, trick the king who was very stupid and was in the power. So to me, Shahrazad was the most powerful, you know, and smart person at the time.
Clearly.
And I think every movement has the Shahrazad inside them, you know.
Wonderful history.
So yeah, but my work is kind of like a very surreal, like it's my inspiration from those stories, but I add some very traditional like images and some sort of like a contemporary, and it has a dark humor to that. So all of the females in my works has a eye bands, and it's very metaphoric, so they can't see, and it's kind of like a force, you know, like I cover your eyes. But even if you cover my eyes, I have imagination. I have so many things to think about. And then the way I can talk, still I can trick you, you know?
Yes, always.
So, yeah. So that's what I wanted to say in the metaphoric way.
And tell me the day, the exactly day, please. It's February 17.
17, it's a private opening. So yeah, it's by invite only, but 19th is a public opening. 19th of February. Yeah, and then it will be for 1 month.
Okay.
So it will be in the gallery for 1 month.
We have time. Some pending project that you would like to do in the future? What do you want to do?
My upcoming.
Yes.
So
what is coming?
So
maybe you have something in your mind. I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah, there are so many projects in my mind, but one of them is the memory of my mom's dresses. So, as I said, I grew up in a war, and then everything was great. Everything was great as a, memory for me. The only colors I saw, and it's very sharp for me, like visually, is my mom's dresses that she wore, and that was kind of like the only cheerful, happy, visual part that she was walking in the house, like, or even in that really sad time, she was dancing, singing, or, like making food for us. And so I want to create a collection of the memory that I have from my mom's dresses, because I truly miss them during this difficult time. I haven't seen them for like 4 years.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
and
then
would be through images, through photography, or how do you want to do it?
It would be a little bit different from my past work. It would be very abstract and more like a pattern, and very it's more like it's a different direction. It's abstract. It creates some shadows because I think about like the texture, and I want to somehow like show that how the memory fades, but some part of it is like stuck in your mind. So that's one of the projects, but I have so many projects COVID related.
Right, but this is very emotional, so it's gonna be other, I don't know, freedom dialogue, and you could, I don't know, have less bounds from that period of time. Art is a wonderful way to sublimate so many bounds, I guess. And time.
Yeah, definitely.
And time. Mobina, well, thank you very much to join us. This is a bit weird because Zoom never is the same that in person, but this is what we have from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and San Francisco, US.
Yeah.
It was a real pleasure. I guess people should go to your art exhibition because talk about art is not so simple. It's, you have to see, watch, enjoy, feel, not talk in a radio interview, but we wanted to have you here, so thank you very much to be here.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, and I'm honored to know you and being here. Yeah.
And see you soon, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.